Tim's on my beats makes my cipher complete. In the cipher with my boys.
Complete the cipher or make ends meet.
This few writer in my cipher.
I run rush your set and crush your whole cipher.
Skills, going to the cipher and build.
Dealing in my cipher, I revolve around science.
We be listening to beats to keep the cipher complete.
Everybody on the avenue, I know when it's in the city.
What up? This is your man Octavius Williams coming to you live from Cypher Avenue Studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, I have co-founder on the line with me, Nick Del Macy. How you doing, Nick?
What's going on, man? You know, it's a new year. I'm
Yeah.
very happy about it.
Yeah, 2013 was an exciting year for Cypher Avenue. You know, we kind of did our thing there.
Yeah, I mean, we launched the website, transitioning from Discrete City to Cypher Avenue, so that was pretty major.
Yeah, it grew leaps and bounds in those 2-3 months. We wasn't expecting, I guess, the reception and feedback and following and support that we did.
Dude, I mean, I'm in love with the website. I'll go on record to say if Cypher Avenue was a person, I would give him a blowjob. I would do it. I just really dig the website.
Wow, that you would give head to
Not just head. I would go all the way back in the throat.
Oh wow. I mean, really with this? This is what we're doing?
I'm feeling Cypher Avenue that tough, man.
Oh wow. So I guess so it's 2014 going to be, I guess, your coming out breakout year. I mean, we need to start playing Diana Ross in the background. What the fuck?
Yes, man. But speaking of 2014, man, 2014, aka 214, aka what I'm calling the year of love. Get it, 214. So I'm really scared, man, because I feel like this is the year that somebody's gonna lock me down, and I'm really afraid.
What?
I'm scared, man. It's like I'm a big numbers guy. Numerology and Mayan calendar and all that. It's 214, man. That means that's the year of love, right?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I guess your newfound realizations here that 2014 is a year you'll be locked down, I guess falls into our conversation topic today, that of a post that we did a couple weeks ago about the 15 reasons you're not relationship material. So we're doing something a little bit special for this podcast. We actually have guests in the studio with us, on the line with us. We're doing a little roundtable. So I'm going to go around and introduce everyone to our roundtable that we have here for this conversation. And first up, we got Jonah. Jonah is 25 years old. How you doing, Jonah?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
We're doing great, man. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a 25-year-old bachelor about to get his master's. Living from Flint, Michigan. Yeah, I'm a creative writing grad student, also a composition instructor at Eastern Michigan University.
All right, you better do it, Jonah. All right, next up we got Drew. Drew is 21. Drew, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. What's up?
You're doing great, man. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm 21. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm currently single. Not looking for nobody right now, though.
Next up, we got Hannibal. How you doing, Hannibal?
I'm all right. Yourself?
All right. Yeah, we're doing great, Hannibal. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Hannibal?
I'm a 31-year-old filmmaker in Los Angeles, California, and I'm a college graduate, and I've been with Cypher Avenue since the beginning, and it's been an interesting experience.
Well, I hope that's a good intro.
No, it's been a good interesting, or I would have left. I like it.
Absolutely. Well, of course, we appreciate you. Next up, we got P. Robeson. How you doing, P?
Hey, what's up? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, man. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right, so 27 years old, born and raised in Washington, D.C. my entire life. But right now I'm currently living in Brazil. I'll be here for the next couple months before returning back to Washington, D.C.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. I hope you're enjoying Brazil right now.
Oh, definitely am. It was a nice break.
Absolutely. So next up, we got Rox. How you doing, Rox?
What's going on?
All right, you got Rox 808 here, another Cypher Avenue subscriber and member. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Rox. I'm 28, originally from Honolulu, Hawaii, living here in Brooklyn, New York right now. I'm a student, a fighter, military guy. That's about it.
All right. Hey, that's good enough, man. We appreciate you joining the conversation.
I do want to extend my thanks for everybody volunteering as tribute today. for these Cypher Avenue Hunger Games as we.
I just got that. I was like, what?
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it should be an interesting. I like the mix of guys we have, so the conversation should be pretty interesting.
Yeah. So it should be good, man. It's unfortunate that we're the oldest guys on the call and all.
We're always the oldest motherfuckers on the website. Come on, man.
So it sucks that we're the oldest, but it's all good though. So the conversation should be good. We got a lot of people from around the country with different backgrounds and different experiences. So that's diversity is always a great thing. So again, welcome guys, and we definitely appreciate you taking the time out for us this afternoon. And we're sure the listeners are going to appreciate you guys also. But again, the conversation that we're having today is about a post that went a little bit viral. Can we say that? Can we say the article went viral? Is that
it went gay viral?
It went gay viral. It didn't go normal viral. It went gay viral. It wasn't like they were talking about it, on the radio or whatever. But it definitely made a circulation around the gay community. And the article was the top 15 reasons you're not relationship material. That was written on Cypher Avenue in December. So what it is that what I did is we listed the top 15 reasons that you're not relationship material and how you can somewhat fix it. We're not going to go through it. You can definitely check out the article on cypheravenue.com, but we're not going to read the article itself. But I am going to list the 15 reasons real quickly in order. Number 1 is that you're a cheater. Number 2 is that you have little self-worth. Number 3 is that you're Mr. Fix-It. Number 4 is that you don't have stability. Number 5 is that you don't get out. Number 6 is that you don't meet your own standards. Number 7 is that you're emotionally damaged. Number 8 is that you don't have patience. Number 9 is that you're too jealous. 10 is that you hit the sheets too quickly. 11 is that you're a gay celebrity. Hilarious. 12 is that you're in the closet. 13 is that you're dating all the wrong men. 14 is that you're addicted to mobile apps and social gay media. And 15 is that you have no idea what a meaningful relationship is. Now, I will say that 99.9% of all the feedback and comments that we receive via social media and also in person was extremely positive. Even the negative feedback we got, we can't really count it because it wasn't any type of constructive feedback. It was just like, I don't like it, fuck off type of thing. So that's why I said 99.9%. I will say, I think Nick's initial response to this was like, damn.
The entire gay community is undateable. That's what I took from that fucking article.
No one's going to be in a fucking relationship. And that's not, and I'm saying that to say that was some initial responses for a lot of people, but I'm here to say that I have, for the most part, been every one of these 15 reasons here that I wasn't relationship material at the time. I've been pretty much every one of these reasons I wrote from experience. And I'm saying that to say that, no, you're still dateable. You're still can be relationship material as long as you acknowledge the issues and work on them. I'm actually pushing on 5 years in my own relationship. So, I come from the school that is, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So that was the inspiration. It was supposed to be a helpful piece to get us somewhat self-examining and moving in the right direction. If you are looking for a relationship, or if you're happy being single right now, you may want a relationship one day. Hey, these are great things you can work on while you're single. So that was the motivation behind it. But again, Nick, what was your initial reaction to it?
Yeah, I mean, it was stuff that, some of the stuff I already knew, but it's like you read those things and you're like, yeah, this applies to me, or this has applied to somebody I've dated in the past. And I think that one thing that some of the people that the detractors of the article, people on Twitter,
right,
they didn't see that it was basically an article or basically something, which is kind of a lot of what we do on Cypher Avenue. It was an article where it was saying, hey, instead of blaming everybody else for your reasons, the reasons that you're single, the reasons that you're this, you're that, how about look in the mirror?
Absolutely.
How about do a little self-examination? And some people who responded to it negatively, I think what happened was that, it's like a hit dog will holler, that type of thing, where it's like, oh, you said something that hit a nerve,
right?
In me, and it's something that I'm either self-conscious about, or I have low self-esteem about, or this is something that I do and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. How could anybody else not be attracted to my tattoo around my belly button as I dance naked in the club on Saturday night,
Right.
and looking for love.
Right.
Like, how could you not be attracted to my profile picture online that's an erect penis?
Right.
Like, how dare you?
Or,
You know?
or showing a damn glazed booty hole like a donut.
Jeez, the visual there. God, I'll never look at donuts again. Krispy Kreme.
But you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's like, yo, and it's, you know, but you either have one or two I guess, extremes here. You got the guys who are the perpetual single guys who wouldn't mind having a relationship, but, you know, think relationships are unattainable. And then you got the guys on the other extreme that all they focus on and think about is getting a relationship and wonder why they can't have one or a stable one, even after you get into one. So it was odd just hearing some of the responses that we again were receiving via social media apps or airways or whatever you want to call it. But someone who did have something, I guess, definitely meaningful to say about it was Jonah. So Jonah, what did you think about it? What hit home, or did you agree with or didn't agree with about the article?
I pretty much, I agree with everything. I think I agree with the impetus of the article. You know, like that it's definitely a call for self-reflection and self-evaluation, especially in the kind of the homosexual community. I think oftentimes, you know, we kind of get stuck in this like love songs fairy tale where we listen to, you know, whatever like song, you know what I'm saying, gets love on top and everything like that. And then, you know, we get into these relationships and we see that they go down, they go south real quick. And it's always you. You know, we always play the victim. Right. You know, we never think about how we're the cause, the contributors to this, you know, this problem in our relationships. I don't know, I think there was I was concerned, kind of like Nick, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, is this, you know, kind of throwing like the whole everybody under the bus, you know, all the gay dudes under the bus? In a sense, I think it can be a little demonizing. But then I think that, you know, that's just the risk involved with doing an article like that.
Did you feel like there was any one of them that you were guilty of, or any number of ones that you yourself were guilty of, or I want to say, I guess, impacted you more than others?
Oh God, like you said, I've kind of pretty much been everyone except for like the gay celebrity. I've never really been big on that, or like addicted to, you know, apps or anything like that. I was a big cheater. I was a huge cheater. Like my first very serious relationship lasted a couple years and was long distance. And I was always thinking like, okay, man, like, you know, he's never around, you know, he doesn't, you know, he's not putting the kind of effort into seeing me as I want him to. And, you know, we get into an argument, 5 minutes later, I'm hitting up somebody, hey, you trying to come through? You know, and so that kind of thing hit me emotional, so it made me wake up a little bit and like, okay, Jonah, you know, you have had this demon in your past before in your relationships, you know, and you got to start to address what's the root of this, what's causing this. And I think that's what's important with all of them, you know, all of them from 1 through 15, there's a root to it, you know. I think tracing that root is what's important.
Right. All right. Oh, I definitely appreciate it. Do you think, how can I ask this question? Are you in a relationship now? Oh, what you like? Hold on. It's yes or no question. What's happening?
It's complicated. It's complicated.
All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. But I'm gonna leave that alone. All right. Well, let's move on to somebody else real quickly. Hannibal, what did you think about it? Was there anything personally that impacted you, or something that stuck out to you more so than others?
There were 2 of them. I think it was number 7, the emotionally damaged one, and then it was the dating the wrong dudes. And now I kind of have combined those into just one big problem because, you know, when I first came out and was doing the dating scene, I got involved with the man who, you know, was a good catch, but I knew that deep down we were not compatible. And when we were in our first stages of dating, I said, you know, I don't think this is going to work because of X, Y, and Z, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, no, it's not like that. We're going to make it work, whatever. And I was like, okay, fine. And then 3 months later, he broke it off and gave me exactly what I told him in the very beginning. And ever since then, I was just kind of like, if I see something and it doesn't feel right, I'll leave it just because I don't want it. Because deep down, and I just came to terms with this actually after reading the article, I said, That's what it is. You know, I deep down, I'm afraid of that happening again. So when I see something, I say something, and I walk off. And then, but of course, that only seems to happen to the guys that really like me. But yet, the guys that, you know, that don't seem interested or whatever that I have to go after, I go all out to try to get those. So it's like dating the wrong dudes, but the right dudes, I'll just find anything wrong with. But the wrong dudes, I commit 100% to going after that. So it's kind of that combination. It just.
Oh yeah, that's everybody. Just straight, gay. Everybody wants the next person who wants somebody else. You know. I think everybody, all of us, probably in this discussion, have probably chased the wrong person, just because it'd be more lust than love.
Yeah.
More physical attraction than, you know, a mental connection. I think all of us are guilty of that.
Wow.
Right. So it's like, so if someone likes me, my guard is up. If they don't like me and I'm interested in them, it's like the guard is completely down, and that's just a whole other problem. But I'm working on it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working.
Well, you know, that's really all you can ask for yourself at certain times, that, you know, you recognize it, and then you figure out, okay, what can I do about it to make sure going forward I won't necessarily come in to have these same problems or run into these same roadblocks. So that's good. We definitely, and I think you mentioned something like that in the article in the comment section, which is good. You know, that's a great way of looking at the situation. You got to recognize it. Well, a person who had a different take on it is Rox. Rock was basically like, yo, I don't have these issues, but the dudes that I come across do, but I don't have these problems. What's wrong with y'all? No, I'm joking. No, but go ahead, man. Definitely expound on that, though. But I think that goes into, I guess, somewhat your discipline and background. It's like, yo, I'm in tune with who I am, and I know what I like, and, you know, I know what I'm gonna stand for. However, dating men that do have these issues sometimes can be a problem. Why don't you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, well, I think when I read the article, the whole mobile app thing was really one of the things that kind of got me, because it was actually last year after I broke up with my dude. We were together for like a year, and things were going great. The only problem was that he was really, I guess you could say he was on a deal, but not, so to speak. Like, I never really met his friends until this one time he threw a party, but like, it was kind of weird, and I kind of knew the shit was going downhill. Then after we broke up, like, I was that cheater. I don't know if I was a cheater, but I went in bed real quick. Like, I still remember we broke up like a year after we made like our year mark or whatever. And then like that weekend, I already hooked up with somebody else. And I was like big on that mobile app shit. Actually, what kind of turned it around was there was a dude I actually met on a mobile app. We went out, and I guess shit didn't work out. You know, it's one of those like you so used to it, and you know, he basically told me like, yo, I'm actually seeing my ex, whatever. And this was somebody I was actually thinking like, oh, I could kind of turn this shit around. And well, that didn't happen. And I actually ended up calling my ex, who, well, I don't really consider him my ex, I guess. Like we messed around, and I called him. I was like, yo, I'm kind of going through the same shit you went through. And he kind of helped me out through that. But then he ended up being also the wrong dude I ended up chasing. He was a gay celebrity, which I didn't really recognize. He was actually on, what's that? The ADTV? Like, he was one of them dudes or whatever. But yeah, that shit hit the fan kind of. And I don't know, my thing, when I kind of mentioned, I guess, you know, I'm real secure in myself, it's just that I think, like, because I entered the sort of gay lifestyle a little bit later in life. And, you know, I come from, like, Hawaii and, like, a military background. So it kind of, like, my tolerance for a lot of shit, like, is mad low. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have time to play these, like, little drama games. I'm just like, are we going to do this or are we not? So when I was going through my Hoe Phase, I was like, let's just do this. Then when it came to relationships, that's when I was kind of caught off guard. But as far as being secure in my own self, like, I've never really questioned myself to that point, really. What irritates me the most is I hear a lot of dudes saying, and a lot of my exes or the people I've talked to, it's always the same shit. I don't know if any of y'all heard it. It's always, oh, I have to work on myself, or I have to find myself. It was a constant battle with that, and that ended up just being the most irritating shit. Because I'm like, yo, you 20-something, you know what I'm saying, and you've lived life, and you want to find yourself now. And so that's when I kind of got the mindset of, you know, I don't know, kind of like I felt like everybody else seemed to have a problem, and I was real secure, so it was hard for me to find somebody who at least wasn't constantly on a search for themselves.
Oh yeah, grow the fuck up already. That's
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's always just like, I really gotta work on myself. I heard that so many times. I'm like, what the fuck were you doing this whole time? Like, we just running around like, you think dancing with your shirt off in a club, like that was you, and then a lot of people be acting so surprised. Like, one of my exes was just so surprised that, I don't have a lot of real friends or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, because all your friends, y'all be fucking just looking at each other, telling each other how pretty you are. And, you think that's like the basis of a friendship. And, he looking at me because I'm just like, I was told him, I'm like, you got some shallow ass friends, you know what I'm saying? And he looked at me like, well, what about your friends? I'm like, my circle hasn't really changed that much because that's not the basis of our friendship. And I guess that's what I look for in my relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, looks are great. You know what I'm saying? They're important to a degree, but yeah, I don't know.
Let's let Paul Robeson jump in real quick. Paul, what are your experiences that you have personally felt or been impacted by based on the article, the 15 reasons or what have you?
I would say, okay, for me, when it comes to, feeling I need to be in a relationship, that's not, that big of an issue that I think about on a daily basis. If it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. But the thing that stood out the most to me was, I guess, I think one of them was dating, in the wrong places. I would have to say that for me, like, I'm out to those who matter, like family, friends, close, those are the ones who know. But at work, people, for the most part, don't know that I'm out. And so when I do, meet dudes, it's usually in the same place. It's like going to bars and clubs that are gay themed. So I feel like for issues like that, where because I'm masculine, although I'm not, in the closet per se, but when I walk down the street, when I go to the grocery store, to the bank or anything like that, people assume that I'm straight. So I would say that it's harder for me to meet people in normal everyday circumstances where I feel like people who are dudes from or femme don't really have the issue because it's laid out there. Even though they're a stranger, you know what you're getting when you meet them. So
right.
I don't know, something that I would have to say that I started thinking about more. I guess putting myself out there when I find someone attractive and trying to, I guess.
So you're single. So you're single right now, right? You're single right now.
It's complicated.
Oh, you know what? Let's go.
We gonna before the night is over. Okay. We gotta get into these complicated. I'm saying.
No, I would say that I know, okay, it's complicated. I met someone just before I left, but it's not a relationship. I'm still technically single, but
one of those, yeah.
I'm gonna explore it once I return back home.
I've been there.
Yeah. So do you right now? You're 27 years old. You're in another country. So do you feel the need, like, well, you know what? I'm still 27 is young. I mean, by any stretch of the word, 27 is young. You feel like, okay, well, I'm young right now. Let me work on me, discover me, what I like, what I don't like, what I'm gonna deal with, what I'm not gonna deal with. Where are you in your dating relationship phase, if you will?
27 is like 47 in the gay community.
You know what?
So. I know it is. It really is. It really is.
Just putting that out.
No, but I would have to say I'm comfortable with, like, looking at where I am right now. Even though I guess it is old gay years, I still like to go out and have fun. I'm not, like I said, I'm not hung up on being in a relationship. I want to say that I'm so much searching, as anymore right now. I know who I am, but I'm still always trying to grow. But like I said, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So we definitely understand where you're coming from, but yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this complicated stuff in a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
But last but not least, we got the youngest person in the group here, Drew. Drew's 21 years old. So Drew, what did you? I guess at 21, still stepping into the realm and still discovering.
Well, no, Drew's got a little experience on him.
Drew got more experience than everybody.
This young man's been busy.
But nah, Drew. So Drew, what did you think about it when you read it? What did you think?
It smacked me from the beginning. I'll say that.
Why is that?
From 1 to 15.
Wow.
I can have a story. I can have a story or a fave for each one. Like,
yeah,
man, from being a cheater, to hitting the sheets quick, to trying to fix someone. It could come from anyone, like any person, and even all of those could come from one person, and then even from me myself, and then we could go through all of that together, and it'd be horrible.
And this is what.
So I mean, I've had.
This is something I'm going to ask everybody in a minute, or somewhat allude to it with a couple of you guys. But you're 21, so it's because you're 21 years old. Is a lot of this stuff excusable because of your age?
Oh no. I've had a lot of little mini relationships,
right.
Kind of, sort of, like a handful, and they'd be like temporary. They would last like from January to March or something. You know what I mean? And we just do nothing but just
fuck around and shoot the shit.
Yeah.
Go to the movies and keep it moving.
Hey, and then you my baby for like another month, and then something happens. We break it off. Boom. Then I'm back to where I started, probably online, likely, and then go through the same thing again. Sometimes it happens, but then I learn from that now.
Well, let me say this, because this is as a God, how old am I? Am I 37, 30? As a 37-year-old and listening to a 21-year-old talk about the things that he did, myself did when I was 21. Looking back on it, it's like I don't see that as a big deal. And I hope I'm not saying the wrong thing here, but I don't see it as a big deal, because I feel like I don't want to use the term. I think Rox might have used the term Hoe Phase. Whether you want to use that term or not, I don't see anything wrong with a 21-year-old doing whatever the hell he wants to do. As long as you ain't hurting nobody, as long as you protecting yourself, I mean, live your life. That's how I look at it. I wish I had someone would have told me that then, but I don't know what I was looking for. I think I was on a road to discovery. I had no idea what I was looking. I was just coming into my own. I was a little bit independent. So you're somewhat filling yourself out, and that's why I asked the question: Is your age? Is there anything wrong with it, so to speak? Because looking back on it, I don't see anything wrong with what I did. But as I'm hearing you say the same things that I did, I don't see anything wrong with what you're doing.
All right, so I started dating like seriously when I was 17, and that relationship lasted from like 17 till I was about 20, and then it broke off for a year. We got back together, whatever. But I said it to say that from the ages of 17 to 23, that's a really crazy phase, in a young person's life, honestly. Especially thinking about relationships and like love or whatever that means. You know what I'm saying, to us, individually. It's not an excuse to do, some slight shit like cheat, like, you know what I'm saying, and not really understand that, you have to know what you want in order to get what you want, but it's understandable. It makes it understandable because that phase, that's when all that stuff is going to happen. You're going to have these many relationships. You're going to have, you're going to be in a relationship that is like, for some reason, you weren't happy in, or it's not satisfying, but you don't necessarily know why, and it makes you cheat. You know what I'm saying? Right. But none of that is like excusable, like sleeping around, even if you're protecting yourself, upping your body count during that time. It's just like, that's just a phase, it's an honest phase. I think everybody, not really everybody, but I think the majority of us has went through that, I think that's a crucial point in development, in preparing for relationships, in your mid to late 20s and 30s even, so because you right now, in your 30s, you wouldn't be the person you are in the relationship that you're in right now if it wasn't for that time.
Right.
And so I think it's, I don't know, it's just, it's interesting.
And
it's
this
interesting
is,
phase in your life.
But this is my thing though. I mean, looking back on it, these 2.5 weeks to 3 months mini relationships, looking back, them shits weren't really relationships. So was I really cheating?
Oh damn!
Come on. Give me a fucking break.
No, yeah, you were. I mean, if y'all had a discussion to say y'all are exclusive and you step outside.
No, you're not having those conversations. No one's having those conversations at damn 19, 20, 23 years old. Hey, we're going to.
I'm not saying like y'all engaged or whatever, but I'm saying if y'all have an understanding that when we're not gonna step outside of this, and you still do, then that's technically cheating, dude.
What if you leave it completely ambiguous and no one has any conversations outside of liquor and sex? Then what? Is that cheating?
Hi, this is Rox. So actually, when I was going through my Hoe Phase, there were a couple guys who were like, "Yo, you wanted to start something." What I did, which I don't know was kind of slick, I always just did the whole, "I'm not gonna ask you what you did. Don't ask me what I'm doing." And
don't ask, don't tell.
Exactly.
The military man right there.
Right? Don't ask, don't tell. For me, what it did was it kind of did give me kind of like an excuse to kind of do my own thing, because I didn't really want to make a commitment, but also didn't want to give up having somebody on the side. Then I ended up I had a lot of sides, but that's what I used to do, and I used to kind of say that like, oh, I'm not gonna ask you what you did, and I stuck to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't gonna be like, or you messing around with somebody else. Like, if I saw you on, Grindr on that app, and I would have been like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really bother me at all. But as far as relationship wise, I'm not gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, for me, I think it's okay to go through that kind of phase, just because you guys are right. You have to go through that because it's kind of in your face so much, especially in the gay community, to where like everybody's kind of doing it. And I guess depending on the person you are, especially if you've been in the closet for so long and you want to experience, all that, it's okay to go through that and there's no judgment. But I think it kind of loses its fact after you reach, like, I want to say once you reach your like late 20s, maybe early 30s. I guess it depends on when you actually come out. But that phase I think that phase gotta happen real quick. Kind of just get out of your system.
Wait, this is Hannibal. Can I say something?
Go ahead, Hannibal.
I think you need to I think there's a phase where you have to get that whole stage out. Don't end up like me, because I didn't utter the words to myself, I like men, until I was 23, nearly 24 years old. And so I didn't get a chance to have a legitimate hoe phase. So I think when you're, late teens, early 20s, I think you should have the party while you can. And that way, when you get a little older, it's, you can settle down into being monogamous. But I just say, as someone who missed those years, have at it. That's all I was gotta say. Okay.
Maybe I'm the only one that didn't have a hoe phase and didn't want a hoe phase. I guess like everybody's like, hoe phase, yeah, let's do it. Everybody else is doing it. I agree with some of you that, and I think I've communicated with Drew and privately about this, is that it's good to, date, a lot of men, not a lot, but it's good to date different men, just because you're at that age, not even just a certain age, when you first start dating men, period, you want to see what you like. It's like a trial and error type of thing. Sometimes you don't know the type of guy you like until you've tried out the guy you don't like. You just like through experience. And also, you're at a certain age where you're trying to see who you are as a person. What career you're going to go into, school, what type of person you're going to be, et cetera, et cetera. So I look at it like not necessarily a hoe phase, but, because when you say hoe, that implies that you're fucking anything that has a swinging penis, and that's kind of disgusting. But if you're dating, if we're talking about dating, then that's different than being a hoe.
Right, I hear you. Well, let's circle back to Drew, since we're all talking about Drew's comment and his age. Let's circle back to Drew real quick. Drew, do you feel like you said it kind of smacked you in your face when you read the article, 1 through 15, but do you feel like is there something quote unquote wrong here that you're doing?
No, not well, except for I feel like I made my choices. I made some right or wrong choices. When it comes to like committing, and then when I said I wouldn't do a certain thing, I would go do number one, for example.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be a cheater, and that happened especially with the long distance relationship that I had. Not too long ago.
So you actually had the conversation and made the commitment to somebody that, hey, we're gonna try to establish and be in a relationship, and then you went out and cheated on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, we didn't really have we didn't have a name for it yet. We didn't even label it yet.
Right.
But
okay.
We both knew that there was something there, and there is something there still.
Right.
But because we are like 200 plus miles apart, that made a big issue for me. So I couldn't get my affections, when I needed it. So I went for it elsewhere. That's how number one comes in for that. And then, as the rest follows, except for the gay liberty thing.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, speaking of that, bring it back to P. Robeson, because you mentioned the whole you met somebody before you left. Like I'm just not a big believer in long distance relationships. It sounds like that's the experience of everybody else here, that it just didn't work out. I wonder, like, do you say it's complicated, but is that the reason why you say it's complicated, P. Robeson?
Well, it's complicated for me. I mean, I know that the guy that I met, that he's definitely someone special, that I definitely, said that we would keep in touch, and we have kept in touch actually during my whole stay over here. that it's something that we want to explore. It hasn't gone sour yet. I hope not. No, it is tough. Both parties have to make the effort to, I guess, keep it going. Especially with the temptations that of having someone that's right there around for you to have access to makes things also sticky. But no, like I mean, it's still working now. I mean, at least for me, the sparks haven't changed. We communicate, and I'm looking forward to actually coming back. So it's funny, like like I said, I don't look for things, and it just sort of happened. It was I clearly wasn't looking for a relationship at the time, but as soon as we met, we hit it off.
Nice. Let me ask this question real quick for the guys, because we talked about I mean, for lack of a better term, it is what it is, whatever term you want to put on it, but we talked about a hoe phase. What is the transition period like from the hoe phase to say, hey, I want a relationship, or I'm looking for something more? Like what internally goes on for you, or what internally went on for you, for you to say, okay, I'm cool, I've done this, I'm fine with this, now let me start looking for something more, or in addition to what I've already been doing?
Does it usually STD?
Oh, you know what?
You get that first STD, you're like, oh, okay, time to slow it up.
You know what, dude?
Time to slow it up. I think I want a relationship. It's real out here in these streets.
Enough of this whole phase shit.
So this is Rox again. I kind of stopped going through my whole phase after I started realizing that sex was something that I just constantly kept thinking about, and it wasn't even satisfying anymore. It was just something that I just had to have, so to speak. And that part I told y'all earlier about when that dude I really liked, and he just ended up going out with somebody else, or going back with his ex or whatever, that kind of struck a nerve with me, because I was like, I'm on this app, it's really not moving me forward in any positive way. It served its purpose earlier, but then now I'm just stuck on it. And that's when it was like I deleted those apps, and I haven't turned them on ever since, and I don't ever plan on to, because it's one of those things where I don't want to go back after I get that feeling of knowing that this shit wasn't really gonna benefit me in any way. That's kind of just when I was like, I've done the physical thing, now I want like kind of emotional support now. So that's how I kind of was like, I'm out and I want a relationship. And it's not so much like, okay, now I want a relationship. It was just more that I don't want that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, oh, now I have to be in a relationship. It's more like, okay, well, I just don't want just the sexual experiences from now on. It's that part of me is just done.
So Hannibal, what do you think?
Well, like I said, I never actually had like a legitimate hoe phase. So I mean, and I've always kind of wanted a relationship, but I'm going with that problem of what kind of relationship do I want or whatever. So I mean, I can't really answer the question because I didn't have a hoe phase like that. But
well, let me ask the question this way for you, if that's the case. Do you think you've always been relationship oriented, or were you like, well, even though I may not quote unquote be horny or sleeping around with a lot of guys or one night stands or hookups or whatever, regardless whether I wanted to or not, I have always been relationship focused or driven?
I have. I've always wanted a partner, and I know, especially since a lot of my friends have partners that they've been with for years. So, I know a lot of people say they don't see gay relationships that work out. I've been fortunate to where I see a lot that do. And I've always wanted one of those. It's just a problem of trying to find the right one to have it with. And I want to say, I know you guys have been, trashing the long distance relationships, but I actually really sort of prefer those. A lot of my relationships have been long distance.
Okay.
But I don't know. That might be part of the emotional damage, and those are just easier to not be damaged from.
That's odd because if you're a relationship oriented guy, like I mean, I've written about this on the site many times. I never did the whole phase. I never really had a desire for it. Well, I like sex, but I just whatever. But at the same time, I'm not like I got to get in a relationship. So I guess. The thing is like I'm a person who likes I think like Drew was saying earlier, I like kind of, if we're gonna be together, I like you to be here, like physical contact, etc. So that's another reason why the long distance thing doesn't really work for me, because I guess I'm kind of needy from that perspective, that if I'm gonna say I'm in a relationship with that person, it has to feel like it.
Well, it works for me because I mean I'm not really all into physical relationships. Like I don't have to be all up under somebody all day and this and that. But I like the emotional fulfillment and the companionship you can do long distance relationships. So that's something I've always.
Let me find out Hannibal is like Manti Te'o.
I never meet them. I never meet them. I don't know what they look like, but we have great relationships.
Right.
You're being catfished.
You know what I mean? Well, Jonah, let me ask you a question because you mentioned that you were in a relationship from 17, I believe, until 20 or 21. I mean, did you ever have a, I'm sowing my royal oats phase, and did that happen or didn't happen, or what was going on from 17?
He's still sowing this from what he said. He's still sowing.
Oh no! I'm not. I mean, I'm a human being. I do human things, but no, it's not like I'm running around here just throwing seeds everywhere. I'm not doing that. No, it's funny because I kind of had like a concurrent relationship period with this. Let's not call it the whole phase. We call it like just the phase or some shit because I think Hoe Phase is just so
right.
It's so such a negative connotation to it.
I agree. So let's just say sowing your royal oats. How about that?
Okay, all right. So during that time, number one, I've always been a romantic. I'm a poet, so I'm just a romantic person. That's just who I am. But I wasn't really aware that at this time I was 17. Just started talking to dudes, and it was a long distance relationship. I didn't see all the factors coming in together. So it actually, so like that time in my life, that phase, I was, really deeply in love. But at the same time, I had like these urges, and I was new to it. I was fresh to it. I wanted to, kind of explore a little bit, and see what was out there. I soon realized that it wasn't really shit out there. And so, it would actually oddly enough, it would bring me closer to the person I was in a relationship with. But I started to discover, with my exploration and seeing, okay, I like this kind of, personality, I started realizing the person I was in a relationship with, we weren't really compatible, personality-wise. So that was like my phase was kind of weird. It was kind of weird.
Well, let me ask a question. This is for anybody out there because we've been talking about some of the positives, but let's talk about some of the negative aspects. Like, has anybody, because I think we're approaching this dating thing like, oh, it's so easy to just get a date, but we haven't really talked about insecurities, our own kind of self-esteem issues. Like, anybody have issues like that where a certain body image or your financial state or education or just something that you don't have or you feel like you're lacking, has that affected who you would approach or how you handled or maneuvered within a relationship where did you feel lesser than the other person because his body was better or anything like that from anybody?
This is Hannibal. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, now I was in New York for a long period of time as a freelance writer, so financially, I wasn't the most amazing person, and I would have issues with guys. For some reason, I would run into a lot of corporate guys, the guys making loads and loads of money who would want to do X, Y, and Z, and sometimes I would feel a little insecure about going out with them because I'm like, well, if we go out and this and that, I can hold my own, but I can't necessarily keep up with them,
right?
Per se. So that was a problem with me, and it was never seemed to be a problem with them. But for me, it was kind of like, I don't want to come across like I'm, just like I need a man or need somebody because I didn't. But it just in my head, I was just like, I don't want to date somebody that's just really well-to-do because, I'm just a writer up here in these streets. Then I moved to LA where everyone seems to be a freelance writer, and that problem went away.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's Jonah. I can come and say something like that because this goes back to, and I have so many experiences with this relationship I'm talking about. Because it did go from the time I was 17 to 20, but it picked back up from the time I was 22 till I was 23 or 24. So it was like about a 7-year kind of on and off again thing. But while we broke up, me and dude broke up for about a year. We both started seeing other people. This dude started seeing like this flat out model. I mean, dude was a model, like, light skinned dude, braids, like, about 6'4", like, I'm like 5'5", 5'11", like, just better 6 foot. But anyway, when they broke up and we got back together, there was this like kind of physical disconnect. Like we wasn't like engaging physically, like, we were barely like touching or something like that. And I kind of like started getting suspicious. And one of my suspicions were actually kind of fueled by insecurity that I had in response to this other dude. Like, man, do you like him? You look better than me or something like that, or And so that was kind of weird, and actually kind of was a big problem in the way we related to each other, like during that second half of our relationship. And it was just a ping-ponging back and forth. Like, my insecurities would make me suspicious. I would go through his phone. I was like, it was bad. And I would like pressure him, like, what's going on? Talk to him, like, what. But of course, he was kind of person that he wouldn't really say all he was feeling or all he was thinking. So that made me even more suspicious. Right. And I would find like pictures of dude, like shirtless pictures of dude in his phone. I'm like, why you got these stuff? They all broke up. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
we just friends. We just friends now.
Exactly. Like, I remember when we was just friends too. When we was just friends, I remember what we did. Like, so.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, Aki got some issues. So I mean, I'm the one who wrote the damn article, so you can see the shit I've done and what I've been through. I mean, everything 1 to 15 is literally me expressing myself and a lack of a better term, telling on myself. So I've actually experienced all of those. As far as the self-esteem thing, honestly, and this putting it out there, life is going to happen. You're going to break up with people. You're going to start new relationships. You may feel they're dating somebody that's better than you, whether that's physically, financially, whatever. That's going to happen. But it's like, okay, if you're secure with yourself, let me back up for a second. Because that shit's going to happen, right? But you have to understand that there's only going to be one you. And you have to try to set out to be the best you that you can do. Like, if you bring up that model cat, I've been in that situation before too, where a past flame is dating someone or currently with someone that you feel is model, and they got all these physical attributes that you don't have. And my thing is that you don't know what else, because we always sometimes focus on the outside and what appearances may be going on. We have no idea what may be going on in that person's life in the first, just going on physical outward appearances. We don't know what's fully going on in that person in their life or whatever. You have to focus on being the best you can be versus trying to live up to someone else's expectations.
I think that's easier said than done. That's real Ayana Van Zandt.
It very much is.
In the real world, I think we see, what's trendy, what's hot, what people respond to. And I think that it's natural to have that kind of, pang of insecurities. Like, well, damn, maybe I need to hit the gym more, or maybe I need to, get a nicer car, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to happen, I think. I mean, it happens with straight people as well as, gay people.
I don't want to say that it's easier said than done, because I mean, that's kind of, I don't want to say that's obvious, but I think dealing with any, regardless the degree or the overall issues dealing with self-esteem, I mean, that's something that, you have to work on within self, you know what I mean? And hell, I'm 37, these issues that I had started when I was 18, you know what I'm saying? I look at myself as being definitely a confident, no nonsense motherfucker now, but I'm 37. And like I said, this shit started well before then. So yeah, of course it takes time and it's easier said than done. I wish I could have handled it differently, but I'm still happy at the way I did handle it, because in the long run it made me a better person. I'm cool with it. But it's there though. I think that's some of the things that we're gonna definitely gonna focus on in 2014 with this site. I think an issue when we speak about self-esteem, but more so the self-esteem issues maybe come from the reinforcement of body images that exist in the gay community. Like, every dude is chiseled with a six-pack and a 14-inch dick and a gigantic ass and a model face. You know what I'm saying?
14,
it's like,
damn, 14 though.
Yeah. My bad.
That sounds painful.
Hold up, man. I was trying to exaggerate, a little bit, but it's like we're bombarded with these images of what it is, and like everyone everyone from what we see in, I guess, in print media, and also on the internet and in our web series and our gay movies, it seems like they're strippers or they're porn stars or they're super successful or they're models or they're executives and they got the gigantic house, and it's like everything, we're bombarded with these fairy tale images in the gay community, and then sometimes we sit back and wonder why our relationships are so fucked up. You know what I mean?
Based on this conversation, it seems like most of you, maybe except for I think P. Robertson, I think he's the one who said the same thing. I feel like a lot of gay men, how do I say this? A lot of gay men are obsessed with relationships. I'll just say it. And it's almost similar to the way women are obsessed with marriage and relationships and dating. Gay men seem to be just as, I got to get a man, I got to get a relationship. Whereas straight men still are into dating and all that, I don't get that same fever from straight guys that I see from gay men over relationships and dating, and I got a commitment and I got to be with somebody.
This is Hannibal. I wouldn't say I said I was obsessed with relationships. I said I'm relationship oriented, but I'm not on Match.com spending money,
No, I think one of you guys said that you're not really that, getting a relationship is not a big deal for you. It's not a priority for you. I forgot.
Yeah. No, that was me,
Okay.
P. Robertson.
Yeah.
No, I definitely. I mean, because I'm someone I feel comfortable, going out and having fun. I don't really feel that I need to have a partner, always by my side. I've sort of always been independent. I guess that's just how I was raised by my parents. To not really depend on someone else for my own happiness. So it's never really been a high priority. Of course, like there are times where you want to have that stable person, in your corner, your partner, the companionship. But at the end of the day, you can only rely on yourself for to guarantee your own happiness, and so.
That's why I call gay relationships loneliness insurance. Because some dudes just don't want to feel lonely, and so they'd like to be able to have somebody to call up occasionally, to say, yeah, that's my dude.
Hey, well, let me ask this question. Hey, Drew, do you feel like you're obsessive about relationships? Or you eager to try to get in a relationship, or do you like, if it happens, great, or whatever?
No. Oh, no. I learned that, but it's good to have experience ahead of time, for the future, so you don't mess up, or so you know what to do, or who you know that you want, or who you know that you don't want. And like how in one of those podcasts that you made, it was the one, why are 20-year-olds obsessed, quote unquote, with getting into a relationship? And that one really hit me. That one hit straight to the heart. And it just made me reassess myself.
Or you felt like some of it applied to you?
Yes.
In what way? In what way?
And the fact that,
you were obsessed at one point?
I was thinking about it. I would think about it all the time. Like, I want somebody to just be with me, for a long time and go to the movies with me and hug me at night and, all that type of stuff. But it's not as great as it's like a dream somewhat.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah.
And you'll get some of it, but sometimes you just won't get the whole package that you want.
This is Hannibal again.
Go ahead.
Just speaking of people, relationship obsessed, to me, this is something I've noticed. It's the ones that, in my opinion, aren't relationship material for a number of reasons that always seem to be in them.
Yes.
Like serial dating.
Absolutely.
Like guys who will openly admit they have trouble with monogamy, guys who say they don't want anything long term, guys who in some cases are even abusive, for some reason are never single. And I don't understand it. It's really weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is my theory. It's just a theory, even though I think it's truth and fact. But just for the sake of the conversation, I'm going to say it's theory. I do feel like a lot of gay men who are, especially some of the older ones, I think a lot of gay men who have not experienced relationships at a younger age, meaning in their teens, when they're middle school or high school, they're gay, but they can't have open gay relationships based on our society. I think a lot of those men once they become independent, they spent their teen years and their early 20s seeing all their heterosexual counterparts experiencing boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, and they haven't experienced those in a gay relationship. So I think once they hit their 20s and gain independence, they become more, I want to play catch up to and experience what my teen and early 20 counterparts did, but I'm just gay and just now want to experience that. And also they don't know what they may not have been properly exposed to what a gay relationship would look like. So they're just kind of playing it by ear and just winging it, but they know what they want. I have no problem admitting I was definitely obsessed with relationships in my early 20s. My goal was, before I even really started fucking around, my goal was that, okay, I know I had somewhat tasted the gay lifestyle. I knew I wasn't comfortable with it. I knew I felt like an outsider. I knew I didn't fully fit in. So I said, okay, I just want somebody to play video games with, look at Ninja Scrolls, smoke weed, and, do some excuse my language, some nigga shit, and just be cool. I was like, I just want one dude. I don't want to be sleeping around. I don't feel like being bothered with the dating scene. I don't want to experience anything of the gay lifestyle. I just want one guy. I wanted one relationship, somebody to have my back, like a best friend or brother who just happened to be gay and who also happened to be my lover. I was obsessed with it. And in the process of me being obsessed with it, it led to a lot of heartache and a lot of disappointment and me being fully just jaded against dudes in the gay community. It took me a minute to somewhat take a step back and reevaluate, because I didn't know any better. I didn't have any other examples. I didn't know any other way besides the what I was primarily saw in the gay community and gay lifestyle. I didn't know any other way. I didn't know any other way for me as a masculine man. I had no clue. And I had nobody to show me. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, this is P. Robinson. So I had a question in response to that. So, I mean, you're saying that you wanted to be in a relationship. So, I mean, you're dating these guys. I mean, I'm just curious, are you forcing a relationship out of these situations? Because I mean, clearly, if there was an issue with these guys, then I'm assuming you saw that as you were dating them before you would want to, pursue a relationship, right?
Well, let me, because I think the terms that you're using are the terms that didn't apply for me. Looking back on it, I can say dating. I wasn't dating anybody. I would come across a guy. He seemed all right. I would fuck around with him and realize it was whack, and it'll be done. You feel what I'm saying? So I really wasn't dating. And when it did last, it last maybe a week or three, or maybe a month, and it was. And I don't want to, and let me say this real quickly. I don't want to make it sound like something was wrong with them. Clearly, looking back on it, it was something wrong with me. You feel what I'm saying? Regardless of what attributes, personality, behaviors they did or did not display, to me that's irrelevant. It was about what I was doing and what I was experiencing, and about what I was saying and how I was acting out. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why, going back to something that we said earlier, as far as talking about Drew and his age and what he did and didn't do and what I did and didn't do. That's something like you sometimes you got to go through that stuff to know. You got to experiment to find out what you don't like. So
let me just say this, because we're walking on dangerous territory, especially for people who are listening, because we don't want. It's like when you get into this whole like trying to reach for perfection, not only from other people but from within, before you date, before you commit, etc. That's tricky. Like none of us would be here if our parents waited till they were ready, etc. Like my parents, they were young and they were two fucked up individuals. They not fucked up meaning that, but I mean they had some issues. And it's like, you look back at our parents, it's like somehow they made it work, or they didn't. But like I said, we wouldn't be here if they hadn't have tried. So sometimes it is a trial and error. It's like trying something new. Like it might not seem perfect on paper, but sometimes it might still work somehow.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think the biggest problem is like what you just said, like with the whole standard thing. I actually was dating a guy. And I was like asking him like, yo, so, should we try to be more serious? His excuse was, well, first of all, he was like, I can't find a relationship here in New York. It's impossible. Everybody here is so shallow, blah, blah, blah. But his excuse to me why maybe we couldn't go is because I lived in Brooklyn. He lived in Harlem. I was like, it takes so long to go see you. I'm like, all right, because, I really should date in Brooklyn. I think it's just too much of them standards, man. And then I feel like everybody is like constantly working on themselves so much that we forget that it's okay to go ahead and step out of the box and try to start a relationship. I'm the same way too. I know I'm guilty of that. Like I'm always like, I gotta concentrate on school, or I gotta concentrate on fighting, and this takes so much of my time that we forget that you can have a relationship, and it's supposed to be a little bit imperfect. I personally wouldn't want anybody who was perfect, to be honest with you, because that would just annoy the shit out of me. I've been like, all right, calm down.
Right. Hey, Nick, let me ask you a question real quick.
Yes, sir.
Roxy said something that made me think about a famous saying that you have quoted numerous times on the website, and that is...
I say so many. Which one could it be?
It's the one that you say that you will never lose... What is it? You'll never lose money chasing men, but you will always lose men. What is that saying? What is that shit you say? What is
you never lose men chasing money. This is, it's an old saying. I didn't make it up. But you'll always lose money chasing men, but you'll never lose men chasing money.
Let me ask you a question about that, right? Yeah. So, being that, because Rox brought up a good point that I've always thought about when I read that statement. I know guys who are gay or bisexual that never had any homosexual experiences till after they're 30. And then once they start having those experiences, they begin to sow their gay world out, so to speak. And it's like, why are you now doing that at 30, 35, almost 40 years old? What happened to you in your 20s? And their response was, it was school, career, money, finances, all this other stuff that they never had an opportunity to experience their life. So now when they got older, you would think in their minds, like, okay, now you should be focusing on a different stage in your life, but you're acting like a teenager or a 20-year-old. And then by the time they do want to settle down, it's 40 and 50, they feel like they're too old and they can't find anybody. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm bringing up to say, it's like, okay, do you think, even though I hear the statement and on the surface, to me, it seems like it makes sense. It reminds me of the stories that you hear of the working father who was always a workaholic and work-driven and money-driven and trying to make all this money. He's on his deathbed and he says, I wish I could have stopped and spent more time with my kids and my family. I can't take this money with me. I wish I could have spent more time. Does it not ring?
Well, I mean, it depends. It depends on the person, because I met, when I was in my late 20s, starting to date, I met some dudes who were late 30s and 40s who they didn't even own a bed in their house. Like, they just didn't have a bed. Like, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, who doesn't have a bed? Like, but it was because they spent all of their 20s being gay and fabulous and fucking everything, that they didn't have a career. They didn't have, shit together. So now here they are, older and just basically starting to focus on, that type of stuff. So it depends on the person, I think.
But don't you feel like there should be, because I don't fully disagree with the statement. I think it's almost saying that the statement almost alludes to having balance.
Yeah, I think, but I think the point of the statement was that a lot of us gay men, we focus so much on dating and relationships that becomes our whole life. Like, that becomes the focus. Clubbing every weekend, keeping up with the Joneses as far as clothes and all this stuff, when you can invest in yourself as far as your education or a business, etc. You know what I mean? Instead of spending, $100 and something on some jeans. So that's what I meant from that. Like, if you focus on, like, the men we have in this, on this podcast now seem to be headstrong, kind of career oriented type of dudes, and you put that on paper, like, hey, I'm in the military, or I was in the military and I'm a fighter now, or I'm working out of Brazil, or I'm a filmmaker in LA, etc. Like, there's gonna be dudes who like look at that and be like, oh shit, you a catch. Versus like, okay, yeah, I was voted best stripper back then.
Wow.
Like, I got my first paw print.
Oh god, that's so bad. I've seen a lot of those paw print tattoos, man. Everybody's E all of a sudden. All right.
God, that was hilarious.
That's my point. Like, some of these dudes are so big onto the gay lifestyle, gay community, this and this.
Yeah.
Where it's like they have no life outside of that, and it's like,
right.
That's why I say focus on other things.
But that was a perfect response. I appreciate that. Go ahead.
I was about to say, man, I noticed those same guys, I guess we're talking about. I noticed that the main trend is they only hang around other gay dudes. Like, I actually had a friend, my boy, I shouldn't say his name, but my boy, we were hanging out. We actually went to school together, And I was telling him like, yo, I'm gonna go watch. I invited him. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go watch the fight with my team. You want to come through? And he said something. He's like, I can't be around straight people too much. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's just too much. Like, I just want to be gay or whatever. I'm like, I looked at him like, you understand you're gonna be gay regardless, right? I just like looked at him. I gave him that sarcastic look, like, you don't just become straight hanging out with them. If that were true, I'd be fucking a girl right now. So I just think those like that. There's a whole gay liberty thing, right? This is what you mentioned, like the whole I'm 2013's best stripper on a pole hanging upside down. But I think that's the biggest problem. It's just I think it's too much of the gay lifestyle, and there's no balance of like, because I get a lot of looks like, you know, a lot of my friends are straight, and I'll tell people all the time is that I'm comfortable because I'm not having friends based on my sexuality. Like I really have like I have gay friends, but it's like a small group. Majority of my friends like are my teammates and everything, and they know about me and everything too. So it's never been a problem for me. But I think that's why I feel like I have my shit together a little bit more because I don't indulge in that kind of life. But yeah, them paw prints, man. You know, you want to look at them and be like, you got attacked?
Yeah.
Oh man, you probably watched the Scandal too, huh?
Oh man. But yeah, okay, one more thing, because like I had a problem. Another problem I had with that list was, and you know, I've written a whole article about this, and you and I have talked about this before. The whole sex too early one, and the reason why, and I wrote an article about it, but I'll briefly explain it here. The reason why I have a problem with that is I don't feel like there's a such thing as sex too early. And the reason I say that is because a lot of us have no problem or have in the past had no problem doing hookups, you know, kind of a no strings attached kind of sex type of thing. So my thing is like, why is your sex valuable for this person that you like, where you're willing to hold out for it, but you decrease the value momentarily? You know what I mean? Like the stock market. It's like, oh, Apple stock is worth, you know, $2 a share today, but tomorrow is going to be like, no, like it's either important to you or not. And my thing is, I'd rather, if I know, usually within 5 minutes of a date, I know if I like a dude. I know if I'm attracted to him, if I'm feeling the conversation or whatever. And so I'm like, well, shit, why am I holding out again? Like, why am I thinking my penis is this magical kind of, you know?
But why wouldn't you? You don't know. I mean, you may know that you're attracted to somebody after a first couple of minutes, but you don't know everything about that person after the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, but it's not. It's still. But I think protection-wise, I'm still gonna protect myself. But it's like, okay, if I'm the type of person who says sex is for people I actually like.
Hold on. Let's stop for a second. And not to want to create a separate conversation, because I don't. But a condom's only protect against certain diseases. Yeah. And right. So a condom is only going to protect you against certain things depending on what you do. So again, I don't. Go ahead. What's your question?
But I mean, yeah. Not to get off topic, but like I said, you know, I'm gonna assume a lot of us in this discussion have had hookup sex.
Right.
So that argument about, well, condoms only, you know, it's like, if you are willing to have hookup sex with a person whose last name you don't even know, why are you not willing to have sex with this dude you're actually fantasizing about moving in with one day? Or, you know what I mean? It's like,
well, let me answer it this way, and I'm gonna use something that Rock says. So let me answer it this way. If you're going through the sowing your royal oats phase, where you're having all this type of sex with all these people that really don't mean that much, right? So you get to a point where you do want something more. So you've already been through the point where you had all this sex. So now that you want something more, it's not about withholding sex. It's about, okay, I've had sex and I want something more than sex. This physical sex I can get anywhere. I'm trying to establish something more with someone else.
I'm not talking about, hey, you know, after a 5-minute conversation, let's go in the parking lot and have sex. Like, no, this is like after a date or two. It's like, yo, I've already kind of checked that box in my head. It's like, okay.
So it's not after 5 minutes. Could it be after an hour?
Possibly. I mean, it's not like we run, like, my dates usually last more than an hour, you know.
Okay, but so let's say it's 4 hours. How is that not a hookup?
That's not a hookup because
you ate first.
Well, that's a hookup.
That's part of it, but no, I mean, like no, when you hookups, they, you know, you come over and you do the do and you keep it moving. Like, I'm not about to. I don't want to know about your life. Like, if it's a hookup.
Hey,
go ahead,
Drew. I'm saying, what if, for example, you online and you've been talking to this person for probably months at a time, and then the first time you meet, you do the do. What would you count that as? Would you count that as a hookup? Or
nah, because y'all been talking for a minute. I think that's a little different. That's a little more complicated.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I count that as a hookup. Because okay. I mean, you're having sex with somebody that you've never met before. Talking to somebody online is not meeting somebody.
But see, like I said, this is gay men feel like they're women, and this is another issue where it's like, oh, he's like, oh, my vagina is so precious. Like, no man can enter. It's like, I feel like,
can I say?
Go ahead, Hannibal.
This Hannibal. Okay.
Hold up. You said my vagina's so precious.
I feel offended.
It's just sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do it both. And it reminds me. I've seen a poster once where it was two men. One man, the caption was, he's college educated, makes 6 figures, drives a nice car, and treats me right. I'll make him wait 90 days. And the other picture was like of an inmate, and it was like, no job, no money, no car. I can't do nothing but have sex with him.
Right.
And, you know, unfortunately, that is how some people think. But, you know, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I feel like for some reason, gays put a lot of sexual gender roles on sex. And I feel like, just my opinion,
yeah, some
men, if you like them and you sleep with them right away, for some reason I feel like they will devalue you, and they'll be like, this, you know, if he did that with me that fast, there's no telling who else he's done that with.
Absolutely.
I feel like
that's how I am.
That's how some men, I feel like that's how some men think. So, you know, it's hard to find a balance. And plus, nobody wants something that they got too easy. Like, I read a book, and it with the one of the things that struck me was, if you put a dead deer's head on a man's doorstep, he's going to throw it away. But if he has to go out and shoot that deer and earn it, he's going to hang it up on his wall. And that's how I feel like a lot of people have to treat sex. If you just give it to somebody, it holds no value, you know. But that's just me.
Right. No, I hear you. I just don't subscribe to that, because I mean, and it's like, you Aki knows me. I'm not a hoe, so that's not the issue. But it's just like, I'm like, just putting this arbitrary value on it. Because like a dude once told me, like, he's like, if I meet a guy online, I can have sex, you know, that day after I meet him. But if I meet him at a house party, I'll make him wait months. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so the environment that you meet him in is a factor as well. It's like, it's so crazy.
It is. Like, if I meet you at a sex club, I can have sex with you right then and there. But if I meet you at the mall, I mean, I at least gotta take you to my house first, right?
That's ridiculous. See how stupid that sounds?
I was acting dumb. Dumb, dude. I was just being.
That's how stupid. That's how I look at it. It's like, you know what I mean? Because I don't do the hookups, and so I'm like, well, shit. Like, we grown men, like, you know, you with it? And my thing is, like, a lot of times when you're first dating somebody, there's so much sexual tension, like you're hiding erections, all this shit. So my thing is, like, I'd rather just get all that sexual tension out of the way, and then if he sticks around, or if I stick around, then maybe there actually is something there. But if the only reason a person is sticking around is because they're waiting to have sex, and then they have sex, and then your text messages slowly start getting responded to, you know, slower and slower until they're not. I mean, I've been on both sides of that, you know. So my thing is, you get it out of the way early, and they're still calling you and texting you, then you know it's probably real.
Okay.
I mean, but what if you don't though? What if you know what I'm saying? Like, what if, okay, y'all do what y'all do, and then you don't hear from them, you know what I'm saying? Scratch that.
Do you feel used? That's my thing. It's like the whole what Hannibal was saying about the gender thing. Like, women, I can understand how women might feel used, but y'all both got sex. Y'all both got the same thing out of it. Y'all both got some possibly good sex. If y'all never hear from each other again, then, you know, you move on to the next, right?
You can't sit here and say that you don't understand you don't understand the concept behind that, though, right? You do get that, though, right?
I do get it from a male-female perspective,
right?
You know,
you get
because
it because
pregnancy is involved, and a woman can get pregnant, and the whole being a virgin is, you know, the fewer men you have running through your vagina is probably better from a slut shaming perspective. But men are different.
Really? So you know,
I don't know about that. I'm sorry, this is Jonah.
Yeah, I can't agree with that.
Men like
I don't know.
but they're not. Men like to pretend they're different, but they're not.
Exactly.
If you meet somebody today and you're kind of interested with them, and they're just like, so let's have sex. You really mean to say the next day you're like, he's still dating material?
Yeah, to me, if everything else was there, the conversation, the looks, the potential, he's got goals, etc., and we mess around, and the next day we're still talking, then I wouldn't dismiss that person, at all. But then if you think about it, like I don't know what y'all sexual history is. I don't know what, like, you meet somebody, they could come off as anything, pretending to be X, Y, and Z, but who knows? They probably went through half of Brooklyn, already.
But hold on, hold on. I just want to dissect it out for a second, because I do hear what you're saying, and in actuality, there's nothing to disagree with what you're saying. What I'm saying is that you have there's a paradigm that exists that says if I give up if I easily and willingly give up my booty hole to a dude, that's a big deal. That's a big deal, right? And what I'm saying is that from the dude's perspective, who's getting said booty hole, it's like, yo, I got this without a problem. He get this shit up to everybody, right?
No, not automatically. I think there's some dudes who think that way, but I'm not one of them.
That's what I'm saying. I'm breaking it down. What I'm saying is that you don't think that way. That's all I'm trying to say. There are a lot of guys who think that. There's a lot of, I'm not gonna say a lot, but there are some guys who think like, we know it's no big deal. He felt I was.
I don't even think that way when it comes to women. Like, I don't, all that slut shaming and all that. I don't like. We're grown people, like men and women. Like, we grown. Like, this whole, this first date, and like 14 fucking years old. Like, grow up. Like, it's just sex.
Hold on, no. Come on, embrace what I'm saying for a second. What I'm saying is that I hear what you're saying, and there's nothing to disagree with what you're saying. Is that you have to understand there are people out there who feel
I get that
differently than you when it comes to being penetrated and it comes to penetrating people. So there are dudes out there that's gonna say,
well, not even just talking about penetration, but just like even messing around. Like, I think that there's this attitude that if y'all even mess around on the first date, that's a problem.
Nick, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
How many men have you slept with on the first date? How many of those have turned into?
That's a personal question.
Well, we're getting real now.
I would say, I would say a couple of them did turn out to be. Well, let me just say, it's complicated. It's complicated. They didn't end up in relationships, but it was, more so because of me, and that's a whole nother podcast. My attention span is kind of short. So
the defense rests.
Wait, hold up. I didn't know this was Sport TV. I got a question though, because it seems like interesting that everyone seems to be pointing out. You guys feel like it's different because if you're a top or a bottom, because that's what I feel like. I think it was either Aki or Nick was saying something about, if he's gonna give up the booty hole, but if you're the one, giving up the deal or whatever, then it's gonna be different. You guys feel like it's a little bit different depending on what your sort of quote unquote sexual position is gonna be in the bedroom.
Definitely.
Yes,
definitely,
absolutely. And let me, because I'm the one who said that, so let me preference what I'm saying here. Let me put into context what I'm saying here. I do think there's a difference. However, it does depend on that individual and their self-esteem and how they visually view themselves.
All right, P. Robertson, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying. I mean, we're all grown adults. I don't see a problem with messing around the first time. I do see a huge difference with penetration on the first time. I mean, whether you're at the top or the bottom, you're still exposing yourself to the other person. Even if you use protection, you can still catch something. So I don't know. To me, that's a no. Going all the way the very first time, nah.
But the crazy part is that there are plenty of bottoms out there who do hookups, and that's why I understand. How can you be a person who is willing to let a stranger, you don't know his last name, you don't know what he has or what his goals are, does he believe in angels? None of that shit. But you let him run up in you, and then not only that, come to your house, maybe sleep over, you let all that happen, but a dude you actually like, you picking out the drapes in your head already, you naming the kids, but you make him wait 3 months. That's what I don't understand.
I am not letting anybody wait 3 months. That's too much time.
That's too long.
Yeah, if after 3 months, you're just kind of like, what the hell are you doing? Because I think it's just, you're both men. So it's kind of like, I think somebody mentioned men are like visual creatures. So it's kind of like, you do want to get that. I mean, speaking from experience, like I kind of wait if I really like to do it, just because I want to get to know them on an intellectual level. When it's easy to give it up in the first date, because then it's kind of like you're emotionally detached from it, because you just want what you want or whatever. So you're emotionally detached. But if you like someone, you want that emotion, and it's also the same thing too. Like you don't want to seem, not so much you don't want to seem that easy, but you want to seem like, hey, I really actually want to get to know you, so to speak.
Yeah. Right. But my thing is, like, that's a part of getting to know somebody. Like, what if you wait and then you find out the sex is whack? Like,
and you bounce
sometimes. But you could have eliminated, check that box off in the beginning than waiting. Like,
man, hold on now. Okay. We got that. I hear what you're saying, but let's be real. A huge problem that the gay community has is that the sex is the gay handshake. We have sex way too quickly and way too much, and that's why we have so many problems that we have right now. You know what I'm saying? We don't
become friendships. I think if we're dating, like if we're just homeboys and we're having sex, that's foul. But I think if we're dating, we don't need to take the we don't take the opportunity. You see it in the Best Man Holiday or all these movies. It's so romantic that they met each other and they had sex, blah blah blah, and it's like, but when it comes to the gay
hold on now, according to something that what you just said, you said there's plenty of eager bottoms out there that'll let some random dude just come to their house. That's the point. We don't take the time to do anything. Everything is right now. We have to have it right now. We have to have the instant relationships. We have to have the sex right now. We have to have everything right now. We don't take the time to get to do anything. We don't take the time to date. We don't take the time to get to know somebody. All we care about is fucking sex. And that's why we're in the predicament that we're in right now. It's because we don't wait. Who the fuck waits for sex? No one does that anymore, it seems like. So it seems like anytime you meet somebody,
like I'm having a conversation from the 1950s. Like,
man,
is this
give me
up. Mad Men, like, it's like a bunch of women over mimosas talking about. But I feel like I get what y'all saying. I get what you're saying. I don't know. I mean, everybody's different. I mean, okay, but before we wrap this up, I wanted to ask, how do you guys feel about? I have this thing called having said the last conversation, but I have this thing called time fillers. Like, I'm not in a hurry for a relationship, but I'm okay with time fillers. If you know what I mean. I'm okay with dating some guys. I call them time fillers. Dating some
also known as his grinder.
All right, let me get some booty until I get back on my feet.
Sometimes, because I've heard a couple times in this conversation, like, and I feel the same way. The ex is always lurking. The ex is always in the background, especially if you are the guy dating the person right after they broke up, you rebound, so to speak. The ex, who's the best friend, or now we're just friends, they're always around. They're a text message away. They're 3 Patron shots away from fucking around again.
You saying that you saying that a dick in a glass case, basically, or the ass in a glass case, yeah.
Break in the case of an emergency.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. You're talking about just hooking up, not like a actual dating again, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of like a hybrid of hooking up and dating. It's like, look, I'm gonna take this one day at a time. I'm not taking this seriously. I know this is probably. I think we talked about this earlier on. I know this is probably not the one for me. However, he's a time filler until
like during cuffing season, basically.
That's
Say that again, Drew.
Wait, does he know he's
cuffing season? Cuffing season.
Does he know he's a time filler?
Exactly.
That is a good question.
Nope. There should be a mutual agreement, of course, though.
Definitely.
Theoretically.
Otherwise,
I mean, that's
long.
Stringing along. Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, this Jonah, that's like just. I mean, that's like friends with benefits situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be kind of a volatile situation. When people emotionally get. Because that's the thing. Eventually somebody's emotions is going to get into it, unless you are dealing with 2 people who are really deciding like, hey, we are just doing this. This is temporary. We both coming from that same point of understanding. But even in a situation like that, you start spending more time with a person. Like, damn, I'm starting to see more sides of this person. I really kind of attracted to this and this and this. And you got to put yourself in check. And it literally can't last that long. At some point in time, it has to be, consciously cut off. Or, it's going to develop into something that could be like disastrous.
Okay, one more question real quick. and this might be a controversial question. Because Aki has said this. He said,
"You better keep my name out your mouth. That's what you do."
Well, those we don't speak.
Yo, he just did the Z on you, man. I don't know if you saw it.
Hey, you know,
He rolled his neck a little bit.
He broke his neck, flipped his weave, changed his tires. I don't know, man. He's doing it.
Well, okay, well, those we don't speak of once said. He said that his main thing that he's attracted to is masculinity. The dude could be ugly as shit as long as he's masculine. Is that something with
Hold
you
on,
guys?
who said that? Who said that?
You did. You did, motherfucker. Like masculinity is your main. Like, okay, well, my question is, like,
Yes, it
is
is.
that
Yes, I did
is
say
that a main priority for you guys as well? Is like, would you date somebody who is masculine but he has some other flaws in other areas because it's hard to find some masculine men? You say, fuck it, I'll bite the bullet on this one.
Are you asking me? I don't know who said it.
Anybody who's
I
willing
dated in between.
Okay. Well, how was that? Did you have problems with it, or you were like, okay, this is great?
Oh no, I mean there are things that raise my eyebrow, of course. You know, because I'm not too used to dating in between guys. This was the first one, and I actually had those feelings for this one.
Okay.
Because he had like a balance of masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
He's actually a great person.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Oh, this is right. I say for myself, like, that's a definite plus because I'm not trying to date Beyonce's backup dancer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do that. I'm not. No, like for my situation, I would say like this, and I don't know if anybody else here is gonna really call out their own like what their sexual position for whatever reason, but like for me, I'm a bottom, right? So I need a dude who's very masculine, who can kind of take control, and you also gotta not be intimidated by the fact that I fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want a dude who's like actually one of the dudes I used to mess with. He's like, oh, because I got pissed off in him saying, if you don't move out of my way, I'm gonna kick your ass. And he's like, I can't believe you would threaten me. And I was like, I can't believe you're such a bitch for me telling I'm gonna kick your ass, man. like I'm not actually gonna kick your ass, even though I could, but I'm not gonna do that. So I need somebody who's like strong. Like I personally, I need somebody who's like who can kind of hang with me. You know what I'm saying? And it's not so much like you got to be this ultra masculine. You don't cry in front of shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But you just got to be able to handle that. And I think I need that per se. And that includes having to have a masculine guy. Like I'm saying, I'm like I said, I'm not dating no Beyonce backup dancer. I don't need you fucking flipping your weave and shit like that at me. I don't got no problem with those people, but I'm not dating you.
I don't see anything wrong with, leaving yourself open to potentially, date, someone who's femme. I mean, I am attracted to masculine dudes, but, I have in the past dated a feminine guy before. There's being masculine is not where I draw the line. There's a lot of things I look for in a guy, being masculine is just one of them. If they can compensate in other places where, it's something that, if they have a great personality, why not? Why close off yourself to a potential, someone that could be relationship material?
Exactly.
Sure.
All right. Well, let me be non-politically correct for a second. Let me be non-politically correct, okay? And that is to say that I don't think gay dudes are comfortable. Excuse me. I don't think certain gay dudes are comfortable with a non-masculine dude getting on their back. That's what it boils down to. Thank you.
You are not.
What?
You are not right.
No.
That's another story.
I'm saying
He's not coming on my back with some knee press ons. No.
Exactly. You don't mind. You may not mind dating an in-between dude. You may not. You may not mind. You may not mind dating an in-between dude. You may not mind dating a feminine dude. But you want a masculine motherfucker on your back. That's what it is. Come on, man.
Wait, why does it matter? If they're good, why do you care? Just because they're feminine? In the bed. As long as they can lay it down, what does it matter?
So can a woman with a dildo.
I think it's just like, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a guy thing, though. You gotta think too. It's kind of a guy thing. You know what I'm saying? I think it goes kind of back to the whole top bottom kind of position. Like I said, I don't want somebody ooh, let me get on your back. I'm like, yo, get off. Just get out the house. I'm not having that. That's, you know what I'm saying? I've been like, look, I'll let you watch Scandal, but you gotta get the hell out of my house after that shit. No, man, I'm not doing that.
Right.
Go
ahead.
I'm an in-between dude myself. So this is a weird question it's a tough question for me. As long as the man is is a little bit aggressive and domineering, I can deal with it. But
you can deal
at the same time,
Yeah, that's like saying I can deal with a root canal.
I would prefer a masculine. I would prefer a masculine man, but I hate saying that because I feel very critical saying that. But I mean, that's just what I would prefer. But I'm open to.
I'm sorry, Hannibal. I mean, it's just what it is. It's a preference. I mean, in my eyes, my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I know. Hannibal and I and others have had this conversation on the site that the masculine privilege and that masculine men are, I guess, the big titty blonde in the gay community. They're the most desired, the most desired, and so it does put kind of pressure or burden on in between effeminate men because I guess they feel undervalued, unnecessarily so, and so it is tricky, but. Like I've tried to say on the site, I'm not attracted to just the body parts, and that's the misconception that a lot of gay men have, and also straight people. That I'm a gay man who's not just attracted to the body parts. I like what has traditionally made men, and that is masculinity and all that. So I'm most attracted to that, and so I can't help it if that's. But I understand I'm one individual, and that there's some other dudes out there who, like a dude who is more. Effeminate, you know what I mean? Who's more submissive, et cetera, et cetera. So,
well, see, and that's another hard thing too, Nick, because I was just talking with a friend yesterday about this because we were reading something about what when someone says no femmes, what do they mean exactly? Like I'm not a Beyonce person twirling, heel wearing fashionista kind of dude.
Yeah,
but I'm also not like. Let's go watch the football game and go play basketball and go work on a car either.
I think they kind of mean more like if I meet you first off, like if I can tell you're gay, then that's what they mean by no femmes. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's what they kind of mean. Like I can't meet you off the bat and be like, yeah, you play for that team.
And then that opens up a whole Pandora's box because then it goes into the whole gay means effeminate. And that's what I guess Cypher Avenue is all about, trying to redefine gay, but we're still playing into that thing where we're saying, well, you look gay or you talk gay, i.e. you look effeminate, you're talking effeminate, which is wrong.
Yeah, well, this has definitely been this conversation. We absolutely have to do this again, man. This was absolutely brilliant. I'm glad Nick came up with the idea to have a roundtable and actually invite people on the call. It was a little bit different from our live podcast that we did a couple months ago. I think this was a lot more enjoyable, and I think we got a lot more information and entertainment out of it. So we absolutely have to do this again. But before we wrap up, before we go, I'm going to go down the list and call on somebody because this is 2014. I don't want to necessarily ask you what your New Year's resolution is. I just want to ask you what your outlook is for 2014. So, we can keep it somewhat the resolutions out of it. So I'm going to start with the youngest first and work our way up to the oldest. So Drew, you're up. What's your outlook for 2014?
Shit. I don't even have one, really. Mainly just to keep growing. And keep growing mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Yeah, and just tread waters. Just tread lightly, especially when it comes to dating and jazz and such.
Yeah. All right, Jonah, you up next. What's your outlook for 2014?
Man, pretty much, basically, just to be successful. Starting my PhD later on this year, so try to move on and just eliminate as many unnecessary distractions as I possibly can.
All right, sounds like a plan. Hey, P. Roberson, what you got for 2014?
Keep spreading that positive energy, so moving forward, I'm saying.
Right, Rox, you up next. What you got for 2014, man?
I got fighting coming up, so I got my training. That's one of those goals. Actually, mine is actually more to get back out there. Like I've kind of hidden in the gay community a little bit too long, focusing on school and all that. So my kind of goal is to kind of get back out there, see what the environment is like. Watch more Scandal, listen to more Beyonce, get a new weave so I can flip it at dudes. Oh wait, that wasn't supposed to be out loud. My bad. Scratch what I just said.
All right, all right, Mr. LA Hannibal, what you got going on for 2014, man?
Well, in 2013, I spent a lot of time networking, setting up opportunities in film and television. So in 2014, now it's time to put all those projects on the screen.
Nice.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, but we got to do this again, man. Nick, what do you got for 2014, man? What's
2014, man? Cypher Avenue. That's the main thing. Trying to grow. Where we quickly went from just a controversial, blog, Discreet City that everybody hated, to being the most visited black gay website that doesn't have porn. I think BGC will always be the number one, but they got a lot of nudity on their shit. But I think I'm really proud of the site. I'm proud of, guys like, the ones we have here, contributing, which makes it hot and dope. The conversations. This is you guys are the reason we call it Cypher Avenue, because it's just the conversations we have amongst each other, regardless of what the naysayers say about the site. So I appreciate you guys, and I'm glad to. It's very different. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand that me and Aki have conversations all the time about our level of, how comfortable we are doing, because we're not trying to be gay celebrities, and it's crazy that we're doing this gay website. So it's weird.
Yeah, and it is definitely my outlook for 2014 is not only to just be a better partner to my partner and be a better person. I've definitely grown doing this experience, and I think that's how we kind of evolved in a way to say, our approach and our demeanor, yes, we're not going to change who we are as people, but we do have to open up and open up the gay community to say that we're more than just clubs, circuit parties, porn, a gay lifestyle, and all this other stuff. We have other interests, like you've heard from our contributors tonight, PhD, military, screenwriter, all kinds of things, UFC fighter, all kinds of things that we are besides just the stereotypical gay shit that you see. And part of my goal for 2014 is to continue to expose the world to that, to say we're more than just our sex and our body parts and our sexuality. We're men, and we're multifaceted, and we're diverse, and we're Cypher Avenue. So that's part of my goal for 2014. This has been a beautiful experience that we've had this afternoon with the contributors to this conversation. So I love you. I appreciate it, man. And just I keep up the good work of having your voices out there and contributing your voices to our website. So it's just two guys, but we're still a community. And we're a community because of you all. So that's my message to you. So I appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you. All right, that's the end of the podcast. I want to thank everybody who stuck around and listened to this joint. And stay tuned to the site for more new features, more new podcasts. And we're about to start some videos soon, right, Aki?
Oh yeah. No. Let me say that different, because they get the wrong idea.
Not doing porn.
Now, right? That was true.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to say it that way, but yes, Nick. Hey, to the Cypher Avenue audience, we appreciate you guys listening. Happy New Year. Welcome 2014. Peace.
Suede Tim's on my beats makes my cipher complete. In the cipher with my boys.
Complete the cipher or make ends meet.
This few writers in my cipher.
I bum rush your set and crush your whole cipher.
Now you got skills. Coming to the cipher and build.
Dealing in my cipher, I revolve around science.
We be listening to beats to keep the cipher complete.
Everybody on the avenue, I know when they see you say, it's all about everybody on